I will not be lectured about sexism and misogyny by this man. I will not. And the government will not be lectured about sexism and misogyny by this man. Not now, not ever. The Leader of the Opposition says that people who hold sexist views and who are misogynists are not appropriate for high office. Well, I hope the Leader of the Opposition has got a piece of paper and he is writing out his resignation. Because if he wants to know what misogyny looks like in modern Australia, he doesn't need a motion in the House of Representatives, he needs a mirror. That's what he needs. Let's go through the opposition leader's repulsive double standards, when it comes to misogyny and sexism. The Leader of the Opposition says, if it's true, Stavros, that men have more power, generally speaking, than women, is that a bad thing? And then a discussion ensues and another person being interviewed says, I want my daughter to have as much opportunity as my son. To which the Leader of the Opposition says, yeah, I completely agree. But what if men are by physiology or temperament more adapted to exercise authority or to issue command? Then ensues another discussion about women's role in modern society, and the other person participating in the discussion says, I think it's very hard to deny that there is an underrepresentation of women, to which the Leader of the Opposition says, but now there's an assumption that this is a bad thing.
Brittany Higgins, why haven't you talked to her by now? It's been a month since she went public.
A month? What have you done?
He hasn't even met with her.
No, he hasn't spoken to her.
Well, she hasn't asked her to speak with me directly.
Oh, please.
You've got to make the call.
It happened in your building, mate. It's meant to be a place of safety, but it's the opposite.
What's he going to say? Maybe just reach out and say, are you okay?
I was very offended personally when the Leader of the Opposition, as Minister for Health, said, and I quote, abortion is the easy way out. I was very personally offended by those comments. You said that in March 2004. I suggest you check the record.
Has intensified pressure on Morrison and his government. Members of the Liberal Party have been time and again accused of improper behaviour towards women. Last year, a former Liberal staff member had officially accused the then Immigration Minister, Alan Trudge, of improper behaviour. In 2019, a number of women lawmakers said they felt bullied into supporting the move to oust then Prime Minister Malcolm Turnbull.
Has one person in this place paid a price for what happened to Brittany Higgins and how it was handled, except for Brittany Higgins?
It's a good question.
I think many people are paying the price, and what I mean by that is this.
Answer the question.
The others who were seeking to provide support.
They failed.
Well, they did. And I think that's what this
Pretty
is like.
abysmally.
That's right.
But they were relying on the very processes that were not up to the job as well.
But whose job is it to put those processes in place?
Sit it right there.
The government is not taking accountability for what has happened to her. You've been going around in circles.
And then, of course, I was offended too by the sexism, by the misogyny of the Leader of the Opposition catcalling across this table at me as I sit here as Prime Minister. If the Prime Minister wants to, politically speaking, make an honest woman of herself, something that would never have been said to any man sitting in this chair.
Brittany Higgins said that 2 years ago, when she was allegedly raped in this building, she was treated like a political problem. You know, it's not a political problem, it's a human problem.
Exactly.
Thanks, Tracy.
There you go.
Well, Tracy, I've never looked at it that way.
How many more times do women have to suffer for someone to get it?
I would love to see a woman follow me as the member for Cook when I choose to retire from politics.
Can that be soon?
I think it's not very far away.
Probably got a bit of work to do around here first.
Tracy!
Sexism should always be unacceptable. We should conduct ourselves as it should be always unacceptable. The Leader of the Opposition says do something, well, he could do something himself. If he wants to deal with sexism in this parliament, he could change his behaviour, he could apologise for all these past statements, he could apologise for standing next to signs describing me as a witch and a bitch, terminology that is now objected to by the front bench of the opposition. He could change a standard himself if he sought to do so. But we will see none of that from the Leader of the Opposition, because on these questions he is incapable of change. Capable of double standards, but incapable of change. His double standards should not rule this parliament. Good sense, common sense, proper process is what should rule this parliament. That's what I believe is the path forward for this parliament, not the kind of double standards and political game playing imposed by the Leader of the Opposition. Now looking at his watch, because apparently a woman's spoken too long. I've had him yell at me to shut up in the past, but I will take the remaining seconds of my speaking time.